everybody, and welcome to this spoiler review for Super Mario Brothers, the movie. Saw this one just a couple of days ago, so I'm jumping on here to do my spoiler review for you for this one. So if you have not seen the movie, as I just said twice now, this is a spoiler review. So go and watch the movie and come on back here, and I'll break it all down for you for sure. And by the way, thanks for clicking on this video to watch this spoiler review. Really appreciate it. Try to do more of these reviews here consistently on the Outlaw Nation channel. And speaking of the Outlaw Nation channel, please remember to subscribe to the channel down below. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell button so you see we're dropping all the content we do, and head on over to the Patreon if you want to support all we got going on here on the channel. Head on over there and pick a tier that works just for you. All right, Super Mario Brothers movie. Let me just tell you right off the bat, I really had a nice time watching this movie. I enjoyed the hell out of this thing. I was laughing and smiling and really connecting with the characters. And I should say this off the bat as well. I am not a Super Mario Brothers person. Like, I don't play the games, but I've always been aware of Super Mario Brothers. Certainly a lot of my friends, my fellow geek buddies, they all play Super Mario and grew up playing Super Mario. It just kind of missed the window, kind of like Power Rangers. I kind of missed the window to be knee deep in this kind of stuff. So I wasn't sure if a Super Mario Brothers movie would necessarily work animation wise, but we've been seeing more and more of these films, these creators come in to do better work around video game adaptations. We saw it with Sonic. We've seen it with a number of things recently, and there's been a lot that's been connected to video games that's kind of been elevated here in the approach. And certainly Last of Us being right now the most current one that we've seen that was just incredible with how they were able to make the transfer into live action. Obviously, this is into animation, but you've got some fantastic actors involved in this one, leading the way, of course, as with Chris Pratt as Mario, Charlie Day as Luigi, Anya Taylor-Joy as Princess Peach. You've got Jack Black as Bowser, and Keegan-Michael Key as Toad, Fred Armisen as Cranky Kong, and Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong. So that's kind of like the biggest cast members in this one, and it's directed by Aaron Horvath and Michael Jelenic. Now, Aaron Horvath had done Teen Titans Go, and Michael Jelenic had directed an episode or a few episodes of Teen Titans. So this is Jelenic's first full-length feature film, and this is Aaron Horvath's second, I think, full-length feature film. This one's written by Matthew Fogel, who's done a number of things recently, including the sequel to the Lego movie, which have been good, not great, but good. So I walked in just kind of little cautiously optimistic that this one would work. And like I said earlier, I really enjoyed it. I had a nice time. Let's start out with the things that I like, certainly. Let's start with the story. I did like the story. We're presented with these two brothers. They've left a job that they were working for Spike, and they've started their own company. We see the commercial that has their overdone Italian accent, so a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek kind of jab at that from stuff in the past. And they're playing these two guys who are going to solve your plumbing needs. And we see them almost destroy a house with some of the plumbing stuff. And they come home, and their entire family doesn't believe in them. Nobody believes in them, but that's what draws them closer. So I like that you've got this brotherhood bond between Mario and Luigi, and they're trying to prove themselves. They're trying to prove that they've got something to bring to the world. And how many of us have felt that way in our lives? So I like that we turn them into underdogs right off the bat. Mario's not afraid to stand up to anybody. Certainly he has that conversation with Spike in the diner. And then later when he takes on Bowser, he's not afraid. That's his thing, is that he doesn't know when to quit. Whereas Luigi is kind of scared and nervous, but Mario is always taking care of him. Mario's always been by his side to give him support and confidence. So I like that. It's a good connective tissue. And then we're thrust into this magical world here that we get. And I'm telling you, I really enjoyed the journey that they were going on, and everything Mario had to confront and overcome and come to terms with. And nothing comes easy, right? When he's doing the whole thing to learn how to fight alongside Princess Peach, it's not easy. When he fights Donkey Kong, it's not easy. When he gets on the Rainbow Bridge on the Mario Kart, it's not easy. Nothing is easy as he's slowly but surely putting himself in a position to be the hero of the day. And we get the story with Princess Peach as well, and that she was a baby, probably brought from the human world here to be in charge eventually of the princess, rather, of the Mushroom Kingdom. And we see her journey. And look, although they make her different from Princess Peach in from what I understand, the video games where she's a damsel in distress, it's not overt. Like, they're not, oh yes, this is a feminist icon. It's more like, hey, I just handle my business. This is just a natural thing for me. I know how to fight. I know how to do this stuff. things come naturally to me, and that's just how I am. She doesn't lord it over. Yeah, she makes fun of Mario's stature or whatever, but eventually she's won over by him, and she sees him as an equal, and they take on these things as equals. And I think that's great. Each of them has their chance to shine without it being some kind of big overall message, which I think a lot of people have kind of gotten a little bit tired of. And I understand that. I think it's good to have strong feminist icon characters in shows and films in these franchises. But in a situation like this, it's good to see that they're both equals, handle their business, and when they come together, they have a good, easy chemistry. Then we get Bowser coming in and wants to like take over everything. I like that he kind of steps to the forefront and does what he does, and it's scary. Like right off the bat, the opening scene of him attacking the Penguin Kingdom, he is scary as hell, and his turtle army there, all of it works to show you how strong he is and how much of a formidable villain he's going to be throughout this film. And so I enjoy that. So they're overcoming these things in order to be accepted, not only by the kingdom that they discover themselves in through that magical portal, that magical pipe, but also back home in Brooklyn. And when they end up back home in Brooklyn fighting Bowser, having that resolution moment where Luigi protects Mario from Bowser's flames, I got emotional there. I'm not gonna lie to you, I got a little emotional. The look they have between each other, like, hey, for once I'm gonna protect you, for once I'm gonna save you to help you do your thing. I thought that was awesome. It's really awesome, and the sweet little moment between her and between Mario and Princess Peach there is sweet as well. So I like the way this all resolves itself in the end, and so I enjoyed the story for the most part. I'll get to some of the things that I didn't 100% like a little bit later. The next thing I like is the acting. I thought the voiceover work here was really well done. Look, a lot of people were ready. They were sharpening their knives to go and attack Chris Pratt, who has been the focus of a lot of people's angers lately for a number of things or a number of stuff that's gone on. But I thought he did a fantastic job here. Really brings an emotion and pathos to this. And remember, this is not his first go around doing animation with the Lego movie, but like he brings that. He's got that character, man. He's got that thing within him that for me works for me. I gravitated to him. I liked his Mario. Yes, there's the hint of the Italian accent on edges. The Mamma Mia moments are funny for me. They're earned and they work for what they are. And so I enjoy the voiceover work that he does. When he's vulnerable, it's there. When he's heroic, it's there. When he's not sure, it's there. When he has to fight through the things it's all there in the work. And the changes in his voice as he's experiencing the things that he's experiencing and the journey that he's going on. By the end, it's a much more confident voice, a stronger voice, because he's finally proven that he can do these things, And Charlie Day does a fantastic job as well. Really nice. There's a moment there where he walks in after Mario has kind of left the table from the family because he feels so like underappreciated by his family or not believed in by his family. And I love that he's playing video games, which is hilarious. But Luigi walking in and bringing that plate of food to sit next to him and saying like, dude, you don't bring me down, man. We're together. We're in on this. So Charlie Day does a really nice job with the emotions of the moments that are going on here, the fear that he goes through when he gets into the dark lands or the shadow lands, all the stuff that he goes through there. And then when he's hanging from the cell there, the fear and the terror that's going on for him, all of it. He does a really nice job so that when he breaks out of it, you see the joy he has. And he's still scared and nervous and all these kinds of things, but Mario gives him strength. Mario gives him that thing that he needs to step forward and do a great job. By the way, that little blue star in those, oh my God, almost stole the movie. That little blue star, I almost want to have like a little blue star figure that I can just hit play on and just says all this insane shit, because I was laughing my ass off at that little blue star, man. I don't know who does the voice. Maybe I can see it here real quick, but I mean, just a one Lumily, is that what it is? I don't know, but that little blue star, just hilarious for me on so many levels. And then Anya Taylor-Joy. Now, Anya Taylor-Joy is a little bit of a different case here. For me, it took a while for me to kind of enjoy her performance, because initially I'm like, oh, this is just Anya Taylor-Joy in front of a mic. It's pretty obvious initially. She's not the first person I would necessarily choose to do the voice of Princess Peach with the way that she's animated, but she grows on you as the film goes along, and as they give her more to do, as she's more called upon to be heroic and fight and push back against Bowser, I enjoy this situation. I enjoy what she's doing. I enjoy her voiceover work, and I enjoy what she's bringing to the table, and the interactions with her and Chris Pratt work really well, and with her and Bowser, with Jack Black, work really well as well. And that's another part of this whole thing as well. Jack Black, what a wonderful. Like, I'm not always the biggest Jack Black fan. Tell you straight up, not always the biggest Jack Black fan, but I liked him here. I really did. He was so good as Bowser. It was unrecognizable. His voice was unrecognizable for me, and I thought he did a wonderful job. And he those two songs that he sings when he's big size and when he's small size about Princess Peach, those are hilarious. And again, I'm not a Tenacious D fan. I'm not the biggest Jack Black fan, but those songs really worked for me, and they were hilarious and perfect. And you get the full Jack Blackness when he's performing those songs. So he was terrifying when he needed to be terrifying, ruthless and brutal when it needed to be, but it was also funny, the comedic moments when he's like, trying to simulate how he would ask Princess Peach out, how he would ask her to be married to him, all these things. They're funny little moments that give some more life to Bowser that I think was sorely missing, to be honest. But we'll get to the things that I didn't like, but I really enjoyed him doing that as well. I thought Fred Armisen was fantastic. I mean, I knew immediately Fred Armisen doing that voice of his. He's done variations of that voice on SNL and other things. So I thought he was hilarious as Cranky Kong. Very funny back and forth with him and Anya Taylor-Joy, and him and his son. They're played Donkey Kong. They're played by Seth Rogen, and Seth does a really nice job with Donkey Kong. You sense that he's once again he's a guy. Another part of the story. He's a guy who wants to prove himself to his dad, and it really works. Like you think because he can smash barrels and do all these things, but there's always the dad, and so he's trying to prove himself to his dad, prove himself to his people, and it's almost similarly. It has shades of the Thor versus Hulk fight there from Thor Dark World, not Dark World, Thor Ragnarok, and it's got that element there with Donkey Kong being loved by the fans, but the fans eventually turn on him as Mario does more and more things and becomes that cat, which I think is hilarious. So yeah, so it's nice voiceover work from everybody. Oh, and Toad, of course, Keegan-Michael Key, also unrecognizable as Toad, unrecognizable. Wonderful job. And of course, he was in Toy Story 4 as well, doing voiceover work. So shout out to Keegan-Michael Key. That was really great work there from him. All right. And it's nice. And it's great to hear Charles Martinet, who is, of course, the original voice of the Mario brothers there. It's nice to hear his voice being Mario's dad. What I say. Great stuff to see him being a part of this as well. And now the other thing I like is the animation. Oh my God, the animation is beautiful in this movie. It is vibrant. It's so fun. I enjoy the way they show the different looks of the lands. Brooklyn in a certain way, and then when we get down there into the land, all that, seeing that and seeing everything that we see in the different worlds. I mean, the opening of that huge ship that Bowser is on, and the lava and the hot molten lava, I guess, or steel or whatever that's falling onto the ice is really great. And then boom, the imagery, the Penguin Kingdom, I thought was fantastic and very funny with the snowball stuff and everything like that. So good stuff. And then when we get to the Mushroom Land, how busy it is, and I'm sure there's Easter eggs all over that land for people who play the game. There's a moment where a guy's selling old stuff, and he's like, if you blow on it and put it back in, it'll work. And that made me laugh. From being an old school video game player, that was hilarious to see. But I'm sure there were a bunch of things that if I had played Mario, I would have caught in a lot of the references, but they're not shoved in. They're weaved in, which I think works really well. It's kind of like Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves. The references are weaved in. They're not highlighted like, hey, can you tell we know the game? So I like that they work that in that manner. But yeah, the way they design all the different lands and the way they show all the different things that are going on. I mean, the Mario track part was just fantastic, seeing all the ins and outs and all the things that can happen there. Just really well done. I was very, very impressed by that. Oh, and I love the humor. I mean, the script, I think, really works for me. The script does what it needs to do in establishing who they are and the journeys that they're going on, and the moments of humor really work as well. When he becomes that cat, it's a very funny moment when he's fighting Donkey Kong, and then when he's fighting Bowser later, when he becomes that flying squirrel, it's very funny as well, or Fox, whatever that is. It's very funny as well. The way it all works. Princess Peach has her moments to have a little bit of humor with Mario. It's not overdone. It's not shoved onto her. It's well done. Bowser has his moments of humor with his little wizard toad there with him with the glasses. Very funny stuff. So there's a lot of humor throughout that I just found myself enjoying, very much enjoying, and not feeling that it was forced or put upon. Oh, and another part of the animation, the Donkey Kong Land, oh my God, Donkey Kong Land was awesome. All the different all the different Kongs there were so much fun. All the different, the way they essentially could reconstruct Donkey Kong, the game there in the battle with him and Mario, I thought was also a really fantastic part of the animation that I could have stayed in. And plus, having the Kongs be the ones who build the carts, and the carts are so awesome in their own way. You know, seeing Toad in his essentially his Mad Max or his Bigfoot. For those of you who remember monster trucks, his Bigfoot truck there was great, and Mario with his thing, and Princess Peach with her motorcycle. And I thought that all worked really well, and having the Kongs be the one in that sequence when they're building their separate ones with the different Kongs, like building it for them, great stuff. Using AC/DC's Thunderstruck was just damn good. Oh, and that's another thing that I really enjoyed. The needle drops here are damn good. They really work. The needle drops, when they pop up, just do a nice job of giving more of this feeling of kind of strength to the film and badassery to the film that I really enjoyed. Now, for some of the things that I didn't 100% like, I will say this. Although I do enjoy the story where we go to, where we end up, I do think it gets a little bit lost or muddled, or there's just a little bit of time just past the halfway mark. It gets a little bit like, okay, what we seem to be repeating this stuff. What's this all about? And I would have liked to have seen. So it's a little bit muddled, especially with the Luigi stuff, because Luigi disappears for a large part of the movie once he gets captured. And you're probably saying, well, you know, it's Mario is the focus and Princess Peach. I get that, but I think we still needed to have a little more with Luigi, a little bit more of his journey, a little bit more of him finding his strength, not just at the moment where he stops Bowser. I felt like we should have had a little bit more hinting at us that he has just a little bit more to offer, and that the situation, he's got to confront things within himself when he's there in the cage. I think there was a lost opportunity there where we could have found Luigi. He does think back on Mario and Mario saving him when he was a kid, but I think we could have seen a little bit more Luigi being like, I've got to find my way out of this. I've got to be in some way, I've got to be able to survive this thing or accept my fate. So I just wanted to see a little bit more there. So it gets a little bit lost there before it gets wrapped up in the finale when they head to Brooklyn. So I would have liked a little bit more there. I also would have liked a little bit more with Bowser, to be honest with you. I get that he's funny. I get that he's got the songs. I get that he's sensitive, but he's a brutal, vicious, villainous guy. But where's that? I would have liked to have seen just a little bit more in the backstory of Bowser. Now, some of you might be like, well, why are we going to get that? Well, there's a sequel coming. No, this is an origin film. Give me a little bit more. And some of you might be saying, well, Darth Vader didn't have anything until, but Anakin was at least mentioned in New Hope. So I just felt like there was something we could have had a little bit more with Bowser in the background. And Princess Peach too. I mean, she's a human who comes, we don't explore that at all. It's just presented to us. It does lead to a cute little moment where Mario says, I told you I'd get you a turtle, when he shrinks down Bowser. But I just would have liked something more there. Does she come upon the human world? Does she start to feel like, hey, is this something that I'm recognizing or something that's familiar? I just would have liked a little bit something there when she gets to Brooklyn that would have, kind of added a little more mystery to her, or a little more to the story of her overall. I would have liked some of that as well. This is one that I highly recommend for you all to go see, especially for you to take your kids to go see, because your kids are probably going to love the hell out of this thing. It's sweet when it needs to be. It's funny when it needs to be. It has stakes to it. There's a good emotional arc for almost all the characters in this film. And then by the end, it leaves you really with a really nice feeling, a sweet feeling. And don't you want that when you go in to see a film like this? So I think this is a successful adaptation of a video game into movie form that I 100% enjoyed. So I give it 4 cowboy hats out of 5 cowboy hats. It's one that you're actually going to enjoy from top to bottom, and you'll be talking about afterwards. And so maybe some of you hardcore Mario people might be upset that there wasn't more, or might be upset that you wanted more of the history. But as someone who is not an avid follower of the Mario Kart stuff or Super Mario stuff, it worked for me. So that's where I come from on this one. So, all right. Oh, and stick around. There is a post-credit scene all the way at the end of the credits. For those of you who are massive Mario Brothers fans or Super Mario fans, you're going to enjoy that post-credit scene. Trust me on that. Oh, well, if it's a spoiler, you've already seen it. So hopefully you stuck around all the way to the end because I thought that was a nice post-credit scene as well. All right. Well, thanks so much for watching this spoiler review. Appreciate it madly. Please remember to subscribe to the channel down below. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell button so you see when we're dropping all the content we do here on the Outlaw Nation channel. Head on over to the Patreon, patreon.com/John Rocha. And let me know what you thought about the film down in the comments section. What did you like? What did you not like? Am I off on some things? Did I miss some things? Am I on point? Let me know down there. Always open to hearing y'all's points of views. I love the Outlaw Nation fans and the viewers and the subscribers because they always bring up some interesting stuff that I may have missed or that I think about, and I would appreciate that. So let me know down there in the comment section below. Share this on your social media and come back and join me again for another brand new spoiler or non-spoiler review here from the Outlaw Nation. Take care.